if we learn something, but then we don't bring it back to everybody else, then the company hasn't learned anything, right? Then I have the knowledge in my head, or you have the knowledge in your head, but nobody else has that knowledge. And so we can't do anything with that learning. We can't apply that learning anywhere. And so it's really important to bring people along, explain what you're learning and why you think it's important, or how it matters, or how you're using it. And then I think the second step of that actually is applying the learnings, right? It's all fine and dandy that you're learning something, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I just learned that this is true. But then you also got to ask yourself, okay, but what does that actually mean? Why does that matter, right? Like, we just learned this. Does that matter, right? Like, how are we applying this learning now to our situation? Does this change anything? And often I feel like that second step is actually almost the harder part. It's like, you got to share the learning, but then you also got to apply the learning. You got to actually sit down and think, okay, I just learned that we have a pain here. Cool. How are you applying that learning, right? Like, what does that mean for your day-to-day business? I found that to be really important. Just ask myself and ask others, how are you applying that learning, right? Like, what does this change, if anything? And some things don't change anything, but often things you realize, oh, that actually does change something.